On April 14, 2022, the jury selection for YNW Melly's trial began. YNW Melly, who has been locked up for almost 3 years, started making headlines lately. With his trial set to start, rappers and media influencers worldwide are already reacting to the possible sentence that Melly might face if found guilty of taking the lives of his friends. According to reports, if found guilty, he would either be given capital punishment or sentenced to life imprisonment. However, despite the possibility of either of the consequences, Melly is in high spirits, and he isn't failing to let his fans know about it. YNW Melly arrest. Florida rapper YNW Melly was arrested in February 2019 as he was charged with 2 counts of first-degree. According to the police report, Melly and another rapper, YNW Bortland, took 2 of their friends' lives and made the crime scene look like a drive-by. The victims in the case are Anthony Williams, aka YNW Juvie, 21, and 19-year-old Christopher Thomas Jr., aka YNW Sack Chaser. They were both pursuing rap careers before their tragic and untimely passing. After they passed, Melly paid tribute to the 2 by tweeting, "They took my brothers from me over jealousy." He said the pair want to see me break down and stop, or in jail or a box. A couple of months after their passing, Melly became a prime suspect in the investigations, and he had to turn himself in. He was charged with 2 counts of first-degree of YNW Juvie and YNW Sack Chaser, to which he pleaded not guilty. 3 years down, and Melly still maintains his plea of not guilty. Rappers react to the case. When YNW Melly's arrest happened in 2019, many rappers spoke about the situation, and some of them believed that Melly was innocent. But some rappers were very sure that Melly had, in fact, committed the crime. Rapper Kodak Black was one of the very first rappers to speak in support of YNW Melly when the arrest happened. Kodak went on an Instagram live video where he showed his support for Melly.
Yeah, man, free that boy Melvin, man. Free Melly.
Man, stop playing. We're not playing like that. Oh, you go bully.
Kodak showed more support to Melly even while he was locked up by collaborating on a track with him. Lil Durk also showed his support to Melly in the first year of his arrest. Lil Durk talked to Melly on the phone, and the conversation was shared on Melly's Instagram Live. They didn't talk about the case, but Durk, along with his OTF artist, the late King Von, offered words of encouragement and told the Florida rapper that he would get out of jail soon.
That shit bustin', you got 10 piece. That shit bustin' harder than mine. It's me.
It's the
It's y'all. I said, that shit bustin', you got a 10 piece.
Sure, okay.
In the wake of his trial, several rappers have also spoken in support of Melly. Meek Mill took to his Twitter to show his support for Melly while encouraging more rappers to stand up for Melly and his case. Free Lil Melly, he innocent, Meek Mill wrote on Twitter. Let's watch the facts of his case so he doesn't get railroaded. It's in Florida. It may be on TV, Meek said. Meek Mill, who has also been through his own legal battles, which he fought for over 12 years, understands just how crazy it could be to be wrapped up in the legal drama. Since he beat his case, he has been a strong advocate for criminal justice reform. He has also supported Rockefeller's recent move to push for a law that will prohibit prosecutors from using the songs and lyrical content of rappers' music as evidence of guilt and wrongdoing without more. Rapper Boosie also shared support for YNW Melly. I'm in prayers for @YNW Melly tonight. I was in the airport and he paid for my food and magazines and really showed me love and respect. Nah, OG, you ain't paying for it. I'm about to call the prayer warriors for you, bro, Boosie recalled about the rapper's character. Alongside some other podcast hosts, DJ Academics also talked about Melly's sentencing when they had a collab podcast. Now, everyone knows how influential DJ Academics is in the rap industry, and he has stayed on the very edge of Melly's case from the start. So, fans were pretty eager to hear what he had to say concerning Melly's sentencing. Opening the talk show, Myron Gaines shared that he was quite sure that Melly's sentencing could not be avoided. Myron made his point with reference to the evidence brought against Melly. According to Myron, the evidence the law enforcement has against Melly is so tight that there's no other way they could go about the situation. In all, he believes that Melly is done for. On the talk show alongside DJ Academics and Myron Gaines was Lil Boom, who said that if Melly had to plead self-defense, then he would claim that it was his alter ego. However, he believes that Melly will beat the case. On the other hand, DJ Academics doesn't believe that the prosecution's evidence against Melly should be substantial enough to amount to appropriate evidence in his case. He believes that Melly has the upper hand in the sentencing, and he would likely beat the case. Fans' reaction to the case. Rappers weren't the only ones who had reactions toward Melly's sentencing. Ever since Melly's arrest in 2019, a lot of people have had a thing or two to say about the situation. While some fans believe that he didn't take his friends' lives, others are quite convinced that he did. In fact, an O-Block member, J Hood, who was friends with King Von, made a video claiming that King Von told him that Melly took his friends' lives. According to J Hood, he wouldn't keep friends like Melly because he doesn't hang around guys who would ex their homies over trivial matters like extortion. While many fans of Melly called out J Hood for being a snitch, others called him a liar, and they claimed that King Von never had such a conversation with him. One of King Von's cousins, Balo, revealed that J Hood was in fact lying and that King Von didn't tell him anything. According to Balo, King Von never spoke about anything personal on the phone, and he believes that such a conversation must have been personal to Von, and he wouldn't make the mistake of talking about it on a call.
On Instagram, and I was like, man, any that with this, I did this strictly because I knew Von was gonna see for real. I did it strictly because I knew he was gonna see. That's just how I get it. I'm like, man, any that's with it, they two homies, man, I can't with them. So Von was mad.
A lot of people still want to see Melly locked up, as the evidence against him is quite convincing that he did take his friends' lives. When Melly posted a picture of him on Twitter amidst the sentencing, one tweet wrote, "In the comments talking about free Melly, like that man ain't two people, clown emoji." Another tweet who is also quite convinced that the 66 pages evidence would be used to silence Melly said, "You've been saying this every 6 months since 2019. My grandpa told me this every 3 months since 2002, and he's still in prison. You aren't coming home." Family reaction to the case. The wake of Melly's trial alongside the jury selection has been a hectic ride for Melly and his family. And right now, the prosecutors aren't just after Melly's neck, but they're going after his mother, Jamie King, as well. According to reports, YNW Melly's mother was invited to the pre-trial by the prosecutors. In the first weeks of April, prosecutors served a subpoena on Jamie King, Melly's mother, ordering her to attend a pre-trial conference scheduled for April 21st. Jamie King has never been questioned or spoken to by law enforcement during the investigation of this case, has never made any statements, oral or otherwise, and has never spoken to or been questioned by any prosecutor or defense attorney. Robert Trackman, who represents King, wrote in a motion to squash the subpoena. However, on April 19th, Melly's mother, Jamie King, withdrew her motion to block prosecutors from requiring her to attend the pretrial conference scheduled for Thursday morning. The court records do not explain why prosecutors served King with the order to appear at Thursday's meeting, nor do they disclose the purpose of the meeting. If King is added to the witness list, she, like all witnesses, will not be permitted to attend the trial until after she is called to testify. Before the prosecutor served Jamie with the subpoena, she previously spoke about her son Melly getting released and how hopeful she was about his trial. Jamie, who made an appearance on the We in Miami podcast alongside her youngest son, YNW Slime, claimed that Melly was going to be back home in May. Melly's brother, YNW Slime, also added that the rapper could possibly be home by the end of April, if the jury selection process were quick.
No, that's jail. I mean, not jail, prison.
Federal.
Yeah, because he's just in the county because he about to come home. Free Melly.
Free Melly.
Free Melly.
However, given the postponement of the jury selection, it looks like Melly won't be making it back home in April. YNW Melly, trial delay. After almost 3 years in prison, rapper YNW Melly's trial is about to begin on Monday, April 4th. The first phase of Melly's trial, known as jury selection, began in the Broward County Courthouse. The jury selection in capital cases is most crucial as the selected jurors must be death qualified. This means that the jurors must be impartial and they must be death qualified, and most importantly, they must not believe that death should be the capital punishment for all the time. In other words, they must be willing to consider prison time as an alternative, at least. In the first round, jurors will be asked whether they can devote time to the trial that may last weeks. broken up into a guilt phase, and, if Demons is convicted, a penalty phase during which jurors will be asked to determine the punishment of life or death. However, news making media rounds tells us that the jury selection in Melly's trial was postponed for another week to give the judge and lawyers time to work their way through last-minute motions and pre-trial hearings. As a result, the lawyers and Broward Circuit Judge Andrew Siegel worked their way through a flurry of last-minute motions and hearings. The attorneys are due back in court next Tuesday, April 26th, for more pre-trial hearings. Siegel said if everything is finished by Tuesday, jury selection could start the next day. However, he stated that it would be unlikely. The jury selection is likely to run through most of May, if not all of it. Most jurors summoned to the courthouse through the end of April and beginning of May will first be directed to the penalty phase trial of Parkland School Nicholas Cruz. Only those excused from the case will be considered for other trials. Siegel said that Demond's case received less media coverage than the Parkland and won't last as long, which should make jury selection run more smoothly, but he did not set a firm date for when selection would begin. YNW Melly speaks from behind bars. On Tuesday, April 19th, fans and loved ones of rapper YNW Melly got to see him again, and this time, he had a full grin on his face. Melly was all smiles as he appeared in Broward County courtroom ahead of his double trial. After appearing in court, YNW Melly posted a photo of himself with a beaming smile while claiming he'll be released from prison in 2022. It's about time, he wrote on Twitter. Melly's tweet wasn't the only good thing he shared with his fans from prison. Just before his phone privileges were withdrawn on Easter Sunday, April 17th, he made sure to wish his fans and loved ones a happy Easter celebration. He shared a post on Instagram to let everyone know that his phone privilege has been revoked and he could no longer make calls or have video visitations. He added that he was in great spirits and that his happiness would never be broken. Melly ended the message by wishing happy Easter to his family, friends, and fans.